Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Eternals issue 4. And this was a really great issue because we got updated with what's going on plot-wise, while also getting a nice dive into Kingo and Droog's relationship. So this issue starts off and we see that they're in the reality loom. We see Cersei is with Fastus to kind of see what's going on. Now, granted, we are represented that he is swinging a hammer at something to pretty much do something, but the Great Machine tells us that he's essentially putting in coded commands to try and fix some shit going on. They, of course, don't have any more information to really give, and Cersei is going to be meeting with Tony Stark. She makes some interesting kind of comments about how they called themselves an Illuminati, but she says that since she was with the Bavarian Illuminati, you can't really be an Illuminati if you're not Bavarian. Talking about that kind of interesting stuff, saying that she'll try and lay him down a little bit and keep them, maybe potentially giving them information while not trying to freak them out, and that she'll try not to flirt with him and seduce him, though that he will eventually cheat on his current girlfriend, but that Fastus is like, well, some addicts do recover, but she's talking about if they live long enough, everybody eventually relapses, and that he says that's kind of a really bleak outlook. So she kind of goes off to kind of do her thing. We shift over and we see that Thana and Kingo have come to Polera, and we see that there are. We get a kind of rundown of what is kind of like the relationship between Polera and Olympus. Olympia, and that it's kind of similar to a Cold War between the USA and Russia, except that like the Great Machine say like, oh, your concept of time because of how long this is, that's just a like little thing, and we keep getting kind of like little things throughout it. Droog, of course, is trying to pass off his innocence, but is pretty much being a double-sided dick about that. I.e., saying that like, hey, it's I didn't do it, but I understand why you guys think that I did it. And we see that Kingo and Thana are playing like good cop, bad cop, and that we get some more information. We're in like 1241. Kingo was seeing that pretty much the son of Genghis Khan was trying to make his way towards Europe, and he had a general that was going and like massacring people. Kingo was thinking, of course, that Droog is the one that's mind controlling these people to do this. He's like, no, 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 I love the humans. I want to see what they're doing, and I love them for who they are. Seeing that this general is like gives them ultimatums. If they refuse, he slaughters them all to make them more compliant for the next one, and that he wants to see what they're doing because they think that everything under the sky is theirs and that they're trying to do their destiny. Of course, Droog then gives him the information of where the general is to see if he wants to like take the general out, and Kingo seriously considers it but decides against it. And then he wakes up and he sees that the army's gone and that the son of Genghis Khan had a stroke and died, and everybody was recalled to try and figure out what was going on with who would rule the empire next, and how close Europe was coming to being invaded by the Mongol horde. It's like, oh wow. And Kingo is like, he didn't kill the general because if he had done that, he'd essentially be taking that determining power from humans, and he would might as well call himself king, as the Great Machine is talking about this. And Droog, of course, he like finds Droog to be like, what the hell's going on? I was like, we'll have to see. Europe, of course, is okay with itself at the moment. Like, they can go back to their usual stuff of getting drunk and wailing on each other. But look, every future was determined by a heartbeat. And well, Kingo's like, it was the one that brought up the heartbeat thing, and Droog's like, my friend, history is always decided upon that. It's just what path. Not choosing a path, like staying on the same path, is just deciding not to choose another path. And of course, we see that like they're pretty much working out. Like, hey, if you had done this, he's like, hey, I, I know that we need a new Prime Eternal, but I took out a lot of the people that in my demographic that would decide the vote. Also, an important bit is that Icarus is a polar Eternal as well, and that he's like they've got an exchange kind of program to stop just like taking each other out pretty much. but his demographic, they took out pretty much all the leaders and a lot of the scientists. And he's like, that kind of weakens my position. I'm persuasive, and even though I got mind control, Eternals are harder to do that. Anyway, I don't know how to fuck with the Great Machine. And Thanos like, well, it would make sense for you to use a scientist, kill your collaborator, and kill more of the scientists. Like, I kind of would do that. And then King goes like, well, I kind of coming around to your side of thinking, because Thanos then decides to attack. And pretty much is getting ready to, like, throttle the shit out of Droog. And King goes like, the one whom death loathes, murder, calling him a murder and everything. Murder. He's like, murder is but a note. I am a composer. And it's like, holy shit. Thanos really knows that. And it looks like we're about to see a giant fight scene with Thana and Kingo against Thanos. But Droog decides to use mind control and tries to put him in a prison kind of thing. It's like, you think you can do this? Planets have done this shit on me. And then he's able to pretty much like choke him out, but he gets stabbed by Thana, telling Kingo to go for it, but he's able to get through with the portals, which should be possible, but he's able to use the network and get out that way. Well, they're like, okay, it's not you that's in league with Thanos, so who else could that be? He's like, what about Gilgamesh and the Forgotten? Well, granted, Thanos the one that brings up Gilgamesh and the Forgotten, but he's like, who else would work with Thanos and do this kind of stuff and have the access to fucking around with the machine? They're like, alright, cool, let's go and do this. Droog's pretty much left alone. His servant, who was pretty much getting drinks, is now dead. He's like, damn it, now I gotta get my own drinks. That was also brought up as a point of like, I don't like to get my own drinks. Why the fuck would I fuck around with a great machine? And then we see that Thanos comes back, and he's like, I'm glad you got my message, because he left a little thing with his mind in the whole psychic prison thing. And he brings up to Thanos like, there's a traitor in the Eternals, and I'm deeply hurt that you wouldn't come to me for that kind of role. So he wasn't the one being the traitor for the Eternals in the beginning, but this could add another disparate element that could vastly screw around with other things. Another little bit that we also got into is that Sprite has been pretty much tapped to accompany Toby to school, while Icarus pretty much floats up ahead and pretty much provides air support to like come down when needed. And it's kind of funny, we get a little bit of things. Toby's like, are you a kid? It's like, yeah, I've been like alive for a lot longer though. It's like, well, have you been through puberty throughout that? God, no. Ugh. And then the Great Machine remarks that if Sprite had gone through that kind of level of puberty all the time, that she would probably try and kill everybody a lot sooner. And I'm like, yep. Mm-hmm. So we got a lot of cool character interactions, character depth, and just leading off everything going on. I'm glad that they focused more on Droog and Kingo and getting us their kind of relationship standards, and focusing and giving us more information on like Polaria and what was going on there and their whole kind of role in the Eternal Society as well, while still giving us a nice little thing of Sprite, Icarus, and Toby and that whole thing. So I'm interested to see how that kind of interweaves with everything going on, and I'm just excited with this story. It's definitely kind of slower moving, and they're definitely putting a lot of plot exposition and everything going on, but it's done in a nice kind of organic way that doesn't feel like you're getting plot dumped continuously, or it's like, what the hell's going on here? They're just doing a nice kind of slow reveal. We'll have to see if the pace picks up eventually, because I don't mind slow burns, but you have to watch out that you like lose all momentum and kind of wander aimlessly. So I hope that doesn't happen here. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.